how I made Palaria. So, as you know, I've made several videos in the Palaria series, but how did I create Palaria? It started out with an assignment for a teacher. On that assignment, I could write whatever I wanted, and it'd be graded at the end of the year. So, I began gathering ideas for what I would write about. At the time, I just finished reading Lord of the Rings, which gave me a lot of inspiration on my stories, about what it could be about. I started with Jon's story, not thinking too much about the world plan. I did have a map though, but the map was very different than the one you're probably familiar with. It was just of Palaria on a small island with only 5 kingdoms, or 6, I believe. Like I said, I didn't have a larger world plan, but I did write Jon's story pretty much the same as I made it into the videos form, with him seeing his father die and getting help from Charlemagne to attack the Varos. After I wrote Jon's story, I began writing on Jeremiah's story, and that is when I started coming up with a larger idea, or a larger world plan for Palaria. I increased the size of the map, and created the idea of the Rhaenon as the overarching villains. I also made Jeremiah's story different than how I portrayed it in the videos. In the book form, Jeremiah was kidnapped and brought to Varos, started the gladiatorial revolts, and helped and moved to Freyr to help the Freyorians in their revolt. And then he got defeated. In the books, I had him revealed that he actually had magical powers, and he was kidnapped by the Rhaenon and indoctrinated into one of their servants, and just opposed Jon in a few things, messing up Arkland's internal plots. But yeah. And then after that, I began thinking of larger worlds and how I was going to end it with the Voyage and the Coalition. And after those two, or during those two, I was also just thinking of other stories I was going to write, and those went in the appendixes. Other short stories that didn't fit, they weren't full stories, just like the Angelic Age story, Dwarf Age, Elf Age, the Black Sword, and just other small stories like that I made into the appendices. Now, for how I made the actual physical copy of the Palaria book, I used Amazon's KDP Publishing in order to get it, because it seemed the easiest, and yeah, just the easiest. The reason I did it, I just thought it'd be cool to have a physical copy of it. Lastly, I was just missing some things that led me to the making of the Palaria videos. The first ones I did were on the different ages of Palaria, which were pulled straight from the text. I just used what I had already written straight, minus a few things. The next few videos were adapting the Voyage, the Coalition, and just character stories. But it was after that where I actually had to start creating new characters and stories specifically for the videos. And that is how I made Palaria.